Hey, welcome back to Oklahoma Live. When it comes to making those New Year's resolutions, sometimes we forget about the financial ones. That Peggy Doviak, president of DM Wealth Management, is here to help us have a very prosperous 2013. Welcome.
Welcome. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year. And in light of you singing Les Mis today, you were going to sing all these tips to us, right?
You know, next time.
Next time.
Next time.
Okay, well, the first goal obviously is just to write down what we want to accomplish in 2013,
Have a goal,
right?
Have a good concrete goal both for this year as well as then maybe a longer term goal for retirement or college planning, something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, have everything written down. It's always good to share those. I'm actually compiling a list of people's financial New Year's resolutions at Twitter at @DMWealth. So if people want to share those, it kind of creates a little accountability.
Yeah, and what are some realistic goals that we can actually achieve?
Well, one really good goal to have is to have a 6-month emergency fund. The problem with that is if you don't have an emergency fund, I might as well tell you to save $1 million in 2013, and people get overwhelmed, so they don't start. So instead of creating a 6-month emergency goal, why not create a 2-week emergency fund that you actually fund?
And you're talking 2 weeks of what you know your budget would require.
What you know that your budget's going to require to make it work. That's right.
Sure. So maybe we're not going to achieve the 6-month emergency fund in 2013.
Maybe
but
not.
Maybe the realistic goal is to get it started.
Get it started, because then as you get success, it becomes fun. You move on with it. You know, to do that, you have to know how much you're spending every month.
Exactly. So that's a good goal to move on towards the fact that it's time to kind of look at what you're spending.
That's exactly right. It's a good time to write down what you spend. What do you have to spend it on? What's your discretionary spending? Absolutely no judgments. You're spending what you're spending, so just write it all down. That lets you see how much you need to save for retirement. It lets you see places that you might be able to cut expenses if the budget's a little tighter than you're wishing it would be.
I mean, do you recommend that we have a budget so we allot X amount of dollars for recreation?
I would at least know what I spent. And a lot of how tight you follow the budget really depends on how much of a cushion that there is built inside of it. But it's always good to have your spending money and have a limit to it so that you save up for your goals.
Yeah, very good. Another tip you have is review important documents. What do you mean by that?
Absolutely. You need to look at your insurance policies, make sure that they're up to date. Look at any sort of legal documents you have. Do you have a will? If you don't have a will, that's a great New Year's resolution. You know, any sort of trust documents might need to be reviewed. This is a good time to look at your retirement plan, that 401k, that IRA, see how it's doing, see whether or not you're still in tolerance with, you know, how much risk you want to be taking. Are you doing what you want to be doing by virtue of growth, by virtue of managing risk?
And by reviewing those documents, like you mentioned, I think anyone's been in a situation to where if someone happens to pass away or a situation occur where they were kind of scattered about, this helps for family members as well.
It absolutely does. Once you've located all the documents yourself, share that location with children, grandchildren, friends, so that, if something happens, they know where to look.
Yeah, and I'm sure it varies by age, but how much should we be saving up for retirement?
You need to be saving for retirement. That actually goes back to how much you spend now. There is a rule of thumb that people say where it's 80% of what you spend today. That's a really scary rule, because for some people they spend more than that. For some people they spend less than that. It's really a case-by-case situation, but you want to start with how much money you're spending now. And you want to make sure that if you're going to have lower expenses, maybe you don't have a mortgage. Maybe, you know, within 30 years your mortgage is paid off, you haven't moved. You might need a little bit less money, but your health care might be higher. So you just probably need to track it, see where it wants to be, and go from there.
Probably start early.
Start early, absolutely. Starting in your 20s and 30s is great, but it's never too late. It's never too late. Always start with it.
Okay, and people can tweet what their goals are to you.
They can. I actually have a hashtag.
All right.
It's ProsperInOK 2013.
There you go.
And you are at DM Wealth.
I am.
All right. Peggy,
Excellent.
Thank you so much. And
Thank you
Happy
so
New
much.
Year.
Happy New Year.
It's going to be a good New Year.
It
yes,
is,
it
absolutely.
is. All right. Well, the Girl Scouts of West